They're talking to this gigantic EMT.
Yes.
This guy is taller than JWoww, and I think JWoww is one of the taller ones of the bunch, 5'10", 5 whatever she was that we were discussing.
I mean, he's got like an Andre the Giant, like, anybody want a peanut? Like, I'm not gonna remember what all I said.
Okay, folks. Here's what happened.
Do you want to explain to the people what we just did?
Here's what happened.
Us being the amateurs and the idiots that we are.
We were so eager to jump into this next episode. I forgot to hit the record button. We've been talking for...
A little somebody forgot to hit a little button.
We've been talking for about 10 minutes.
I would argue that it's been longer.
About stuff that no one is ever going to hear.
No one's ever going to hear, but maybe we can try to redo this. Because it actually was a cute little conversation we were having.
It really hurts. Yeah, because that was a great conversation. Oh, boy. Okay, well, learning lessons. We're recording now.
Are you sure?
The light is on. I see this light right here. That's recording. So we're officially recording right now. Sis, how are you?
Pissed.
I can't believe I did that. I listen
all the boneheads I've ever known.
I listen to this podcast, and every now and then you'll get the one episode where you hear them talking about this exact situation, and I'm like, just hit the record button. Here we are, 5 episodes in. We have our first mishap where I missed the whole conversation that we had.
Oh man.
Sorry.
What the deal was is I was asking how your week was, what you had going on this last week, and what you got coming up this next week.
Yeah. Okay. So just a quick recap. I'm going to Cabo coming up this weekend, which I'm super excited about. Going out there with the company that I work for are taking us out there, which I'm super grateful for. Looking forward to. It's going to be nice to get away. First time that I've been out of the country since COVID and all that kind of stuff happened. So really looking forward to that. In other big news, I bought myself a new car.
Wahoo!
This week. Yeah. First time that I've gone out there and did it alone.
That's a big boy purchase.
Worked the deal down and just kind of negotiated, doing my thing. I didn't have anyone there with me, which generally, whenever I buy a car or something that big, I've got somebody kind of there to give me some kind of backup and all that. So I bought that car. It's great. It's a 2022 Hyundai Veloster N.
It's a Veloster.
Nice little hot hatch, great little performance car. The sound on it for just being stock is so, so great. And you feel it in your body whenever you're in there.
It's a lot of power under your butt there.
It's great. It picks up. I mean, it's got power underfoot. I mean, you put that accelerator pedal down, engine cranks, turbo spools, and you just fly down. I mean, hitting 100 in this thing is easy. You don't understand how fun this car is to drive.
Okay.
I don't even listen to music anymore. I'm in the car, it's silent, only listening to the engine firing off in the back.
I'm gonna have to test drive this.
It's really. I'll let you get in there. It's pretty sweet. So been a really exciting week for me. Sis, what do you got going on? How's it been?
Pretty good. I re-signed up with Orange Theory again.
Nice.
Which you've done a workout with me.
I did.
Before.
Just one.
Orange Theory is nationwide. So if you haven't heard of it, chances are there's actually probably a studio near you. And I would highly recommend this workout if you're at all interested. They do offer your first class is free. So that's kind of cool. And I highly recommend getting in there to try it out because it's a very good workout.
It really is a very good workout. Super intense because the whole point of it is like being in a certain heart rate kind of zone.
Yeah.
And staying within that zone. But in order to stay in that zone, I mean, you really do have to push yourself.
Yeah.
It's an endurance thing. It's a stamina thing.
It's, a power.
Lots of cardio.
Strength,
lots of strength.
Cardio, yeah. So what the Orange Theory is there's like 5 zones of heart rate that you can get within this workout. And being in the orange zone is like a certain heart beats per minute kind of a thing. And the idea is that if you stay within this orange zone for, I think the minimum is at least 12 minutes of workout, you will create the effect of an afterburn for like up to 36 hours after the fact, which is kind of neat. And so my body just really responds well to that kind of a workout. And so I found what works for me and I'm doing it. And I'm proud of myself because postpartum and me being not the kind of person who is a fitness buff,
right?
Really, I'm not buff at all. So this works for me and I love it.
We're not workout people.
We're not workout people.
Our little sister Lori.
That's being nice.
Yeah, our little sister Lori loves working out, and
she does.
Got
Shout
a body
out
to prove it. Hey sis, love you.
Love you.
Timmy also is a workout buff. That guy, a couple of years ago, got so ripped.
Yeah,
it was in. I didn't even know that Lizarragas could have that kind of body structure.
Yeah, that kind of definition.
He's bringing it back right now.
Yeah, I know he's on the train again,
looking good
again,
building it right back up. And he just knows all this kind of stuff. So he's like super into it. Knows what works for him. Yeah, does it kind of thing. So that's good to hear. I'm glad you got back into it.
Abby, well, she's just there. So.
Abby is perfect the way she is. So she's fine. Hi,
love you too. Ab.
I love you lots.
Mostly.
Well, that's cool, sis. Good to hear you're back in there. I'm back in the gym myself, getting back into the routine after COVID and the holidays.
And then the one other thing that we didn't talk about before we were hitting record is that my little mama heartstrings are tugging this week.
Why is that?
We are enrolling my baby in school.
The boy's going to school. What would that be called? Pre-K or is it pre-K?
Well, I guess technically it's pre-K because he is pre-kindergarten.
Right. But he's a couple of years off.
It's a learning center.
Kindergarten, right?
Yeah. They're going to learn things.
Just get him in there.
Music, art.
Get him in around some other babies.
Yes, he's going to socialize a little bit with children his age. He just won't be around adults like all of us all the time.
To be fair, your kid is so like an old soul.
He prefers adults, which is not good. Like he needs to be around children his own age.
For sure.
He's much older than he is.
He joins in on our conversations. Like if we're all talking, he's got something to say.
He's a little old man.
He's one. Keep in mind, everyone.
For a 14, 15-month-old.
So
he's a little old man.
That's real exciting.
So yeah, it's great for him. We went and turned in his enrollment papers the other day, and he was ready. Like he was ready to run back there to the classrooms
in his little boots.
He ran, in his little new boots. His first little pair of boots we got him, super cute. He ran back behind the front office desk and was like saying hi to all the ladies back there. He was just like friendly. He couldn't wait to get started.
That's awesome.
Me, on the other hand, I'm like about to cry thinking about dropping him off there on his first day, which is Tuesday. So,
that's literally right around the corner.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. That's
good.
It
is. He's gonna do really well.
Making waves, moving on in the world. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, you're doing good, and you're getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
We're back here to talk. I keep constantly checking the record.
You should be paranoid now because that is unacceptable. How dare you?
I can't believe that I did that.
Never do it again.
What's done is done. You can't go back. We're here to talk about, more importantly, episode 5
Most importantly,
Jersey Shore. We're getting into the thick of things. Just a quick recap on last week's episode. The biggest kind of takeaway where we kind of left off. Snooki gets punched right in the face.
Smack dab in the face.
All kinds of stuff going on. We leave at a peak kind of the episode.
A crescendo.
And we literally pick up in this episode like right away. So sis, give us the rundown on what we got going on this week.
Yeah, so this is episode 5. It's titled Just Another Day at the Shore. The air date was December 31st of 2009. So this is how we capped off that year, was with this episode of Jersey Shore.
That's a good way to go out.
So let me read the summary of what we're going to expect in this episode. With the support from most of her housemates, Snooki recovers from the punch. Ronnie's family comes for a visit, and Sammy does her best to make a good first impression. JWoww gets tired of all the haters at the club and gets in a fight. Mike, Polly, and Vinny continue their schemes to hook up with as many girls as possible, but Vinny may have crossed a line when he takes the boss's girl home.
This episode starts off right where we left off, as it's usually going to do. I'm starting to realize the more episodes we get in, we're picking up day by day,
they leave
essentially.
It on cliffhangers. And before we get too far into this, I do want to just remind you guys, you can watch along with us if you want. All 6 seasons of Jersey Shore are streaming right now on Hulu, Apple TV, MTV, Amazon Prime, and I think Paramount Plus as well. So if you have subscriptions to any of those platforms, watch along with us. The way we're doing these episodes is that you don't have to watch the show if you don't want to, if you don't have the time to, if you have no interest to. You can tune into the episode and we'll do our best to recap what is happening so you can still follow along and hang out with us. So,
but I do encourage you to watch the show because it's good trash TV that you can shut off your brain, just absorb what's going on. It really is a great show. And then I'm going to keep on saying this, as the seasons go on, these people change a lot, and you do get to see the evolution of these personalities and the maturity kind of set in. And it's really, really interesting to be able to just sit back and actually watch a human being develop as time goes on. So I encourage you to watch. That being said, sis, this episode, we jump right back in.
Yeah, we're picking up of the night of the punch heard around the world, essentially. And so the episode opens with literally Snooki recounting what exactly happened leading up to the punch. I can't remember if they actually open with the shot of her laying on the floor, which is like the saddest little crumple of a Snooki that you've ever seen.
Yeah,
laying on the floor with her hair splayed out everywhere.
Just a little
after
bindle.
Being hit.
A very tan little bindle just lying on the floor, discarded almost.
And again, like if you just tuned in for the previous week's episode, we did talk about this a little bit because they did leave us on a cliffhanger from this situation. But we're getting more of this footage where it looks like she's kneeling on a stool. And she's yelling at these idiots who are stealing their drinks at the bar. And she's like calling them out. She's like being Snooks and like standing up for what she believes is right in this moment. Even though I think she should have scaled back. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I am not saying that she's asking for it. Do not mistake me as saying she's asking for it, but
she put herself in a situation where something could have gone wrong.
She antagonized a situation that was already a hostile thing. Yeah.
And a lot of people pin that whole thing on Mike, which Mike maybe helped de-escalate the situation. Maybe he made it a whole lot worse. But the people pin a lot of blame, a lot of what happened on Mike, when the real instigator, in my opinion, was Snooki.
Yeah.
In that situation.
It's a hot take because, I mean, it's probably a little bit of everything mixed in together.
I guess she was just a bad timing. She was the cherry on top.
Wrong place, wrong time kind of a thing.
Right.
But what is happening is she's at the bar. She's kneeling on the stool, so she's kind of like right at eye level with this guy who is blasted out of his mind. He's not just drunk, he's on something else.
Yeah.
He has to be. Anyway, she's waving her hand in this guy's face, and at this moment, like, the screen blacks out and chaos ensues. All you can hear is like the audio with no screen, which is just
like a horror movie.
It just like makes your heart kind of pound because we know what happened. We just left off on that in the previous episode, but like to see it all happen again, it's just like, it just makes your heart start racing.
Yeah, the boys are heated, and actually, you know, Vinny is the one, to me, who's the most upset about the whole thing.
I noted that as well. So the screen opens back up again. It's on the footage. Snooki's been hit. Jenny is reaching over some guy trying to get blows in at this guy who has just hit her friend. Cops were on the scene seemingly fast.
Mm-hmm. Did
you notice that?
I think that was just the boardwalk security or boardwalk police that are just constantly.
They were probably just walking around, and they heard a commotion and they ran in.
Yeah.
The girls end up taking Snooks to the bathroom to clean her up. She's hysterical, as she should be. They're trying to clean her up with 1-ply toilet paper that keeps like shredding as they're wiping her mouth.
Yeah, and there she's, you know, Snooki's at one point, she's like, are my teeth out? Yeah. And there's Jay Wow's like, and there was blood everywhere.
Girls
don't get hit in the face, but not that traumatic of injuries that are going on.
Having a little trouble saying these words.
Yeah. It's late here on a Sunday that we're doing this, so bear with us. But yeah, I think they're almost kind of making it like worse a little tiny bit, and then Vinny.
Well, they don't know what happened. I think they're reeling from what has just happened. So, granted, we've seen this multiple times. They're living in this moment for the first time, so they don't know what has happened. All they know is that she's crying hysterically.
Yeah, she could have been stabbed for all they know.
Yeah, like saying that her teeth are gone or so. They're not gone.
Right.
But she is bleeding. So the guys are outside still screaming. They're heated, even though the perp is gone. He's already been carted off. He's arrested. He's gone. They corner what looks to be one of the other guys that this perp was with. They corner him on the boardwalk.
Yeah. He's got his hands up to the sky.
His hands up like, whoa, not me.
Yeah, you want that guy. He's over there.
Even through the privacy blur that they use on this guy's face, you can see that he's concerned for his well-being in the moment. And he should be, because this is a large group of men, large in quantity and large in stature.
In muscle mass.
To your point, Vinny keeps asking, where's Snooki? Where is she okay? I need to talk, insisting that I need to talk to her.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because this seems like a precursor to me for their relationship that ends up budding over the whole rest of the series, pretty much.
And I think that because Vinny is such a family guy, and since he's living with these people, to Vinny, this is his family. So something has happened to one of his family members. He's got to have to do something about it. He is so upset. He's kicking stored garage doors and just absolutely fuming. The girls, they finally get Snooki out of the bathroom. Yeah. They're talking to this gigantic EMT.
Yes.
This guy is taller than JWoww, and I think JWoww is one of the taller ones of the bunch, 5'10", 5 whatever she was that we were discussing.
I mean, he's got like an Andre the Giant, like, anybody want a peanut? Like, you know, like he's like giving her the put this ice pack on your fridge. Anybody want a peanut? So everyone's outside regrouping, still shocked. Everyone's mad. Medical is examining her.
I wouldn't say everyone is concerned or regrouping.
That's valid.
Most of them are.
Because why, Steve?
Mike's creeping, man.
He's prowling. As all of this chaos is going on around them, Mike has the audacity to prowl for strange ass on the boardwalk.
That is one of those things where, okay, the situation has been resolved. Diffused. We're going home. Everyone is alive and okay. Yeah, morally, yeah, Mike, like, be involved in the situation. You were a part of it after all. But at the same time, it's like, he can do whatever he wants. He is his own man, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. And Mike has a lapse in judgment here, especially for being the one who causes the most issues in the house, which at this point everyone understands and everyone kind of gets.
Yeah.
So Mike doesn't do himself any favors in this situation by doing that.
Right. And this whole scene like kind of closes out with Snooks just saying, you know, in that moment, like, all I wanted was my dad. Which is like just so sad. Totally. Like, again, we just get just how close she is to her parents and how in that moment all she wanted was her daddy.
Yeah. At one point, it shows the JWoww and Snooki walking away. JWoww is in these, what do you call them? Sweatpants and what looks like moon boots.
Oh, Uggs.
Is that what they were?
That's probably what it was.
It looked like they had straps on them.
Yeah, they made Uggs in all kinds of styles.
It gave me super Napoleon Dynamite vibes.
Yeah.
Whenever I saw it.
Yeah.
It's so much so that I made a note here that says JWoww moon boots?
Yeah, that's a great observation. Yeah, I did notice that, but not enough to notate it. But I'm glad you did. Back at the house. It's the same night. We're back at the house. Mm-hmm. The guys are like still trying to figure out what happened that caused the issue in the first place. And Ron is like astutely, I feel, starts realizing that Mike had been buying those guys shots all night. Mm-hmm. Mike is sitting there trying to brush it all off as he's scarfing his bag of Doritos.
Oh, was he eating Doritos?
Scarfing. Not eating. He's like, the whole chip is going in like one right after another. As he's
nice.
like, I don't know. Those guys were just there. It wasn't my fault.
Nacho cheese, Cool Ranch.
I think it was original.
Original nacho cheese. Okay. I'm a Cool Ranch. I don't eat Doritos, but when I do, it's Cool Ranch. This episode brought to you by Doritos Cool Ranch.
Get your fill.
An excellent chip. Get your manchan. So yeah, Ronnie is the first one of the guys.
Ronnie's the one who starts making the connection
with Snooki, which I thought was a really tender moment between them. Genuine.
Yeah, Ron takes a moment to like go and make sure. Well, Snooks gets home and like she runs straight to bed.
Right.
She doesn't want to talk to anyone. Ronnie goes to console her and in like the sweetest little big brother moment that he has with her, and he's just like, you know that you're part of this family at the Jersey Shore house. Like we're not gonna let anything happen to you ever again. Like I'm sorry that happened, but you're one of us. We love you. We're here for you. Essentially, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, it just kind of lays it out there on the table.
Mike squeezes in on this tender little moment.
Yeah.
You keep trying to defend him, man.
I do.
And it's just like, you can only do this for so long before you have to start admitting.
I will admit, you know,
there's some sliminess.
I try to give Mike the benefit of the doubt.
I know you're trying, but he really makes it hard.
He does make it hard. He does worm his way
squeezes right into that little tender moment.
Just let me get right
He's
in
like,
it.
oh, do you mind scooching over a minute? Excuse me.
Yeah, which Ron remembers.
Yeah.
That. Ron ends up getting real pissed at Mike because he's not doing enough in the situation.
And as he believes it happened, he instigated
it, yeah.
this situation. So he did it. He did stuff to start it, and then he's not doing anything to help it, and or like taking any responsibility for anything that happened that night.
He really hands off, and you know who else is hands off, at least as far as we can see and what's presented in the show, is Paulie's not really involved in much of that at all, which is pretty common for Paulie to stay out of the drama.
Outside.
Yeah, he hangs on the outskirts when these moments come up. Very rarely will Paulie get really, really involved in the drama, which is just, I think, a personality trait of Paulie to be like, let me just watch this kind of unfold and everything will be fine as time kind of goes on.
In this moment, though, it's still the same night. Like, Ron is still just very heated and angry over this. So him and Sam take a moment to go talk outside on the patio. Ron is still pissed at Mike for not doing anything to help the situation or protect Snooks in any way. And this is where we get Sam saying, you know, that's not a good friend. Like, he's not a good friend, but you are. So
she's kind of in his ear a little kind of bit when she's not wrong.
She's trying to help cool him off, and you can tell, like, I need to continue diffusing him because he's still worked up about this. So that's kind of how that night ends for all.
Very next morning, very next scene that we open up on is Ron's family comes knocking on the Shore house.
Knock, 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 knock.
They got a whole bunch
answering.
They got a whole bunch of food. They got the mom there.
House is trashed. Everyone is dead asleep.
Yeah.
Ron's family shows up to the house. It's his mom, his dad, and his little brother. His little brother looked young, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was like, what, 12, 11?
Gosh, yeah. Probably like 11, 12, maybe 13.
Now Ronnie's parents, they look like they like to tan, so maybe...
I was surprised at how young his parents looked. So much so that I made a note here.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought they looked pretty old.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they looked pretty old. But,
interesting.
But I didn't think that they were old. I thought they just looked old because of the tanning.
Interesting.
That's what I thought.
Well,
so they're knocking on the door. I love Ron's dad, his little dad comments that he's making throughout this whole thing.
That's so funny because I love Ron's mom's comments throughout this whole thing. So let's get into it.
Yeah, Ron finally, somebody opens the door. Ron opens the door.
Finally, yeah.
And the first thing he says, like, y'all are here early. And the dad's like, early? It's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and his mom goes, you're late, not us. We're not early, you're late.
That's really, really funny. So first thing right out of the gate, they are already kind of start off a little frustrated because they're having to wait. Right. And Ron's mom strikes me as the type of woman who does not like to wait. When she's ready to do something, it needs to happen. She's got stuff to do.
And because the deal is that they've come all this way, assumingly, like, it was probably a little bit of a drive for them to get there. They've come to have what we have to assume was a pre-planned lunch with Ronnie, but then he drops like a little bit of a mini bomb that Sam is going to be joining them. And immediately Ron's mom is like on high alert, you know, because he probably did not tell them that he's kind of liking this girl a little bit. And now the plan is changing. And now, man, now I got to be nice for this girl. Like, I feel this as a mom, I have to say.
I was wondering if you would kind of think that, was that a jealousy, kind of a possessive, my baby boy kind of a thing?
Like, who, you know, like, who is this now?
Yeah.
I just wanted to come and have like a nice lunch with my son. I haven't seen you in however long. And now this girl's got to come along.
And the real frustration that Ronnie's mom has is that Sammy's trying to get ready.
She's trying to get ready because they're running late in the house. They woke up late. No one is ready to go.
Right.
For this lunch appointment that they had with Ron's parents.
So we really don't know how long Sammy was working on her getting ready and stuff like that. It could have been.
We know that she was taking a shower. We know that she's got to put the full face of makeup on and that she's sitting up there straightening her already straight hair.
More straight?
More straight.
How straight is too? Because her hair is like...
It's pin straight.
Straight. Yeah, like straight.
Well, I assume what she's doing is trying to get the little flyaways and like the little frizzies that curl up on top. That's what I assume she's trying to get through.
She's going for perfection.
Yeah.
Not a thing out of place, because she even says that I want to make a good impression.
She even says it. Yeah. She's like, I want Ronnie's family to think like, wow, she's really pretty, which again, we go back to the insecurity thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing you want them to think of you.
And that's a pretty common thing for Sammy in making sure that she's put together to please other people. That's not the first time that we've heard that, and it's not the last time that we're going to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. So they're waiting. Ron's mom is coming.
I could be getting my tan on right now.
She's coming in hot with the comments. Is Samantha going to sleep till like 3?
Yeah.
Is one of her questions. No telling how long Ron's family is being made to wait at this point. They eventually go sit outside, which is like, I'm not sure which is worse. Do you stay inside the house where it probably stinks like garbage?
That's what I was thinking.
Because it's trash. The house is trashed.
Yeah.
Or do you sit outside where it's like boiling hot because it's noon, it's lunchtime, and it's middle of summer?
Yeah, I think the safer bet would be outside in the fresh air.
So that's why they're sitting outside, but it's freaking hot.
Luckily, who comes to de-escalate the situation again? Snooki comes out, and then it's revealed to the parents, okay, well, here's why we're going to tell you everyone was sleeping. And this is, obviously, this is something that they just do. But Snooki comes out, and her face is swollen.
It's very swollen. Poor thing.
Watching this episode makes you kind of understand like maybe how hard she got hit.
She took that punch.
Because it's clearly swollen on one side.
Yeah, it's very swollen. She looks like a poor little chipmunk. Like, I imagine it's what you look like after you get your wisdom teeth pulled. Poor thing. But yeah, it was a nice gesture of her and Jenny to go outside, I thought. Converse with the family while they're waiting.
Definitely, yeah. That they probably gave the parents a little bit of reassurance about what's going on.
But
Sammy finally comes out, and she makes her appearance. And what is she doing? She's touching that hair again. She's stroking that hair again.
It's her kryptonite. It's a nervous tick.
It's a nervous tick. And again, not the last time we'll see that, but it's a good little physical indicator of how she's feeling in that moment.
I do love Ron's mom, though, because like backing up a little bit, they're rehashing what had happened the night before because they saw that Snooki's face is all messed up. And so Ron is like telling him what had happened, and Ron's mom goes, oh, hell no. You guys didn't want to bash him?
Yeah, that's right.
You didn't want to bash him?
Yeah, she encourages them beating the shit out of that guy.
She goes, let's go back to that bar, see if we can find them. You know, I was just like, that's cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mom.
Yeah. All that, again, like, well, everyone's on the same team at that moment, kind of a thing. But also, thanks to Snooki.
Also, Ron's mom is just like not having anyone's shit, like including Sam making her wait so long. And so I think that's where we finally get the comment of her being like, she's taking so damn long. I'm going to have to pin my hair up.
I could be getting my tan on. That's when that comment comes in.
And Ron is trying to like diffuse her, be like, just have another cigarette.
You're so crazy.
Have a mimosa.
you always like this.
You just say whatever's on your mind. It's disgusting.
That's what he says. He does say that.
Dang, that's harsh to say to your mom, but they give it back to each other.
Brutal, yeah. it's give and
the
take.
Same, yeah.
It's like you say something to me, I'm gonna say it right back to you, and if you don't have the stones to get past it, then we're gonna have a real problem. Okay, I'm gonna bash your head in.
All the meanwhile, Ronnie's little brother is sitting in the chair, like watching all of this, and he's just laughing,
learning, knowing how it's gonna be growing up.
Yeah, so Sam finally comes down to meet everyone, and poor Ron's mom, I just feel for her because she's like sweating. She's got the red face, like her hair is all pulled up in a bun because she's so hot. She puts on the sweetest sweaty smile that she can muster in this moment and compliments Sam on like how beautiful she looks, which is kind of like, I think she's trying to like make a little bit of a backhanded compliment there, you know?
Or it's either that or she's not completely like, she's not really mean to normal people, just to Ron. You know what I mean?
I don't think she was happy in that moment. Have you ever been red hot and sweaty like that, having to be nice to the person who just made you wait? You're hungry, you just drove in.
Yeah.
It's hot.
That's fair.
It stinks in there.
Good performance then.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a mom move.
Because she totally could have gone the other way.
Oh, I know my son really likes this girl. Fine, I'll just be nice for a second. Hi, honey. You look beautiful. Let's go eat.
Tanks. Yeah, like,
come on.
Finally, yeah. So we do, they go off, they're on the boardwalk, they're playing little games. Who is joining the family, Ron's family? Did you see?
Who's joining the family?
Vinny.
Oh,
Vinny
I
was
did notice that.
Yeah, Vinny was hanging out with the family.
Yeah. Well, he does make a comment later that he just, like, he gets why Ronnie is the way that he is, because the whole family is just, like, they're really nice people. So.
And I think that's another little insight into Vinny being such a family guy that since he's not with his family, he's gonna get
to be with a
he's
family.
He's gonna get that from
some sort.
Ron's family. Yeah.
Well, in this moment too, as they're kind of walking around the boardwalk, you know, Ronnie's confessional, his talking head. He ends up saying that, you know, he doesn't like to hide anything from his family, which is why he really wanted them to meet Sam on this day. And like, as a parent, I just thought that was really sweet and just like valuable at like the lines of communication between the parent and the child there are open, according to him. Like, I mean, you know,
you never know.
That only goes so far sometimes, but I just thought that was really neat. Like
that he would even say that.
Yeah, that he would admit that, because I feel like a lot of people are like, step off, Dad.
Yeah.
Get out of my room, Mom.
I don't think that was really something that I ever bragged about, like saying, yeah, I can talk. I always talk to I tell my parents everything.
Right.
At least for me, not saying that my parents weren't completely capable of hearing all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But
and I don't think a lot of parents are, but that's why I thought that was such a nice thing to hear, that his parents were the kind of people who you can say anything to. How they're going to react to it, I guess, that's...
depends on the severity of whatever you're telling them.
But the fact that they have nurtured, it seems like, that type of relationship between themselves and their kids, I thought just was really neat.
Seems healthy for their situation.
Exactly.
So then we pick up with Snooki and JWoww, kind of doing a little bit of a recap. They go to the...
they're going out day drinking and to grab some lunch, and mostly they're day drinking.
Just the day drinking part. Big old drink that Snook's trying to fit into her.
Poor Snook's in her face. I mean, she can't even drink. Like, it's like falling out of her mouth because she can't close her lips around this straw.
Yeah, and she's like laughing at one point.
Jenny's laughing at her, watching her trying to get this straw in her mouth, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, trying to do that laugh to where you try to laugh without moving your mouth. It's almost impossible. It just looks
use
weird.
So much muscle though. Yeah. Like,
again, goes to show you how hard she got hit in the face.
How hard she took that
poor
punch.
Thing. Yeah.
Poor thing. So
Jenny's sweating up a storm. I don't know if you saw that.
It's a hot day. Like, everyone is sweaty on this day. This is miserable.
It must have been a brutal day on the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it had to have been. Plus the humidity, because you're right by the ocean.
Right.
So anyways, a little bit later in the day, we're back at the house. Snooks is getting an update on the guy who had hit her, because, as you know, he got arrested, but he ended up bailing out. So she's like worried.
Yeah, I didn't know that you got those calls from the police
neither.
Whenever someone gets bailed out in an incident that you were involved in.
I don't know if it's as much that she got the call as maybe you call in to get the status on someone who might be in there.
See, I think the verbiage was, we're calling to let you know that
beep
is involved, was released.
I missed that then. Okay.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Either way, I had no idea that you could get updates like that, because
Me neither.
I've never been in a situation like that.
And you know, like, it's weird because I can relate to that feeling of like being worried about your
Safety,
physical
yeah.
well-being, of like someone who might want to hurt you. Do you remember that one time? We've got a little bit of a story time here, and it's not really that great, that happy of a story, but do you remember that one time when I had the stalker? When I was living in Uptown, I was living by myself. It was before I had met Josh. I wasn't like dating anyone or anything like that. I was just my own little single happy self. And I was like getting ready for work one day in the morning. Granted, I probably wasn't the smartest to have trusted that I could leave my window shades open, but I was getting ready for work one morning, and my apartment was just at the same level as an overpass right downtown. Like, it's literally Woodall Rogers, if you know the area. So I'm getting ready in the morning. I'm facing my bathroom mirror, and in my bathroom mirror, I see someone outside the window sitting on the overpass with a pair of binoculars looking in at me through my open window as I'm getting ready in the morning.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I think I called you and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm scared. What if this person like comes and tries to find me? They know what I look like. Like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
I don't know how safe I am right now. What do I do?
On the highway where there's like Dallas traffic.
Passing
I mean, it's not
cars.
an overpass where there's no traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right in the middle of traffic.
In rush hour.
I do remember getting that phone call. I'm pretty sure I told it, call the police. Did you get his phone?
Yeah.
Did you get his license plate? And I think by that point he was
already
or
gone
something
because
like
I
that.
found him. I freaked out and I like closed the shade real quick. So, I mean, he's got to move. There's nothing else to look at.
Yeah. So you kind of know.
I get that feeling of like being worried about your physical well-being, and I didn't even get touched by this person. Snooki got hit.
Yeah, that's true.
She got assaulted by someone.
Probably the first time that she's gotten hit by a guy. I would think
first and only. I hope.
I hope to God.
But I can relate to that feeling, definitely, of how she was feeling in that moment of like wondering if this guy is going to come and find her.
She was stressing.
She was stressed out. I felt for her in this moment.
Yeah, that was horrible. I mean, I don't want to like cut that off or diminish that story. But yeah, so you can relate to that kind of fear. I can
relate. I was scared for days after that. To even go to my car by myself in the garage. I just didn't know.
I'm sorry. Sorry you had to go through that.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking like I don't want to think about that, so I'm like,
I know.
Let me just get around because it is.
If you've ever had a similar situation happen, let us know. This is crazy.
Yeah, how did you deal with the stress? Let us know if there was anything like that that happened. Getting back to the episode, Sammy makes a pretty insightful comment about this whole thing, and that she says, "I think this whole incident kind of really brought the house together," which is 100% true. Crises that you go through together will always bond you just a little bit more.
Yeah, if there's like a shared trauma or something like that.
This is definitely one of those moments where we're getting closer. Everyone's getting closer. Yeah. Everyone's becoming a family, which they start referring to themselves as kind of from here on to present day in the newer seasons of Jersey Shore.
Well, the girls decide to go out tanning, and then back at the house, Paulie is getting himself a DJ gig at a local club. I don't know what spurred this on. Again, I don't know if maybe production suggested, hey, why don't you reach out to a club owner and see if they'll let you spin or something.
I think he wanted to do it because Vinny keeps on going on like this is what he's passionate about. He does it 6 days. You do anything 6 days a week, that's something that's a part of your life that you just gotta do.
Yeah.
And for Paulie, the thought of not spinning all summer was he just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
He brought all of his gear.
He had it all
there
with him.
He's a gearhead. He knows his gear.
Nerd.
Him and Vinny sat down at the table.
They geeked out over gear.
He's Vinny. Paulie's this is this and this is this, and Vinny's just like I don't know
I got the Transfer 3000 and the XTP.
I don't know what any of this is, so he just kind of bails. But I thought again, really another neat little insight into another one of these cast members, Paulie.
Character development.
Yeah,
there.
to see how passionate he is about the DJ thing.
Also, there's Italian flags all over his gear.
Of course.
I think at this point, too, Mike is also cooking their Sunday dinner, and it's surf and turf night, which I'm like, Ooh, that sounds so good.
He was grilling up. I don't know. He had probably a little too much garlic on those on the steaks, if you ask
think?
me.
Man, I love garlic, man. So
hey.
yeah, they're having steaks and lobster. When was the last time you had a good lobster? I know exactly when mine was.
I had a holiday party that I went to, and there was some lobster there, but it was a cold serve lobster.
Okay, yeah.
So not like a buttery, nice lobster.
Like a lobster boil.
There's a new place that opened up down the street called The Boil, and they do boil bags and some real good seafood. And I almost got that for dinner last night. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
We might have to try that.
It looks pretty good.
So I had some of the most delicious lobster I think I've ever had, probably in my life. That's bold.
That's a big statement.
It is also the most recent lobster I've ever had, so that could be a factor in this.
Where was this lobster that's changing your life over here?
So, do you remember when I went to go visit Mom in Milwaukee?
Mm-hmm.
When was that? November?
Oh, yeah.
Some of the best and biggest lobster. I think we got 2 plates of like a lobster boil, so it came with the lobster, the corn, the potatoes, the butter, the lemon.
Stop.
And cheap. It was like $22.
Seriously?
Per plate. So we got 2 of them, of course, and it fed all 3 of us, me, Mom, and Lori.
Yeah, they get the good stuff over there.
So delicious because they're getting it right from the lakes, right? They have such bountiful.
Man, that sounds good. There's nothing
seafood.
There's nothing more that I like than like a good old crawfish boil. Man. Oh, when we get to see, our family comes from Louisiana, so we have a lot of family that still lives in Louisiana. We grew up in Texas, but the thing that we took away from Louisiana was the food. I mean,
our love of food, especially seafood.
So we do a crawfish boil at least once a year.
We try to at least.
And I mean, whenever we
not in COVID, of course. We're being responsible.
Whenever we can get Uncle Davey in the mix, our Uncle Davey, man, that guy can cook some seafood.
Man. This lobster though was like triggering me because now I want some lobster.
I want some lobster too.
But Vinny ends up taunting poor Snooky with this live lobster that they're about to cook, and Snook says, "I'm a vet tech. I save animals. I don't kill them. I don't eat freaking lobster because it's alive when you kill it."
I've got a note here that says, "All animals are alive till you kill it."
Exactly.
And we see here eating animal products
exactly
all the time.
The thing is, where do you think all the rest of your food came from? It was alive at some point.
But
even plants.
To her point, no one's slaughtering a cow in their kitchen and then cutting up the steaks, right? So a little bit of a different thing. I'll give that one to her.
Nature of the beast, though. I mean,
don't selective. It's one or the other. There's no black and white there.
Well, Mike is pissy at this time because none of the girls are helping cook. And Sam even has the stones enough to say, "Well, just let me know when it's ready," and walks away.
Again, I'm gonna be on Mike's side on this one. Mike, if Mike did all the cooking, which he probably did because we've seen him cook literally every single episode, you'd think that
someone would lend a hand in the whole process of cooking. It looks like it's literally all just him making this Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone else helping out with this. And
no.
how many people is it?
6?
7.
7?
4 guys, 3 girls, minus Angelina.
Who I've not thought about once since she left.
Right.
Good riddance.
7 people that you're cooking dinner for. That's a lot to not have any help. Anyways, they finally get to the dinner table. They're eating. Poor Snooky. She's disabled with her swollen jaw. Like, she can't even open her mouth big enough to get a full bite in. Yeah. And Jenny's just, like, staring at her, laughing. Sam ends up getting mad by the end of dinner at Mike for leaving his dirty plate and trash there at his spot. But Mike thinks he shouldn't have to clean up after himself since he did the cooking. And I have to say, broski, this might be the only thing I agree with Mike about. If you do all the cooking, you shouldn't have to also do dishes or clean up after that. Give and take.
Yeah, 100%.
So I definitely disagreed with Sam here, and I didn't know why she was pushing this so hard.
I got the impression that Sammy doesn't really have to do that stuff at home. Yeah. So she's used to being taken care of, but yeah, again, I mean, I'm always going to try to give Mike, I'm always going to try to be on Mike's side if it's warranted, and I feel like in this case, it's 100% warranted.
Definitely.
Help out. I mean, the man's cooking for you. The least you could do is carry the plate over and dump it. She's not having it, so who ends up cleaning the plate. Ronnie ends up doing it, which again it's driving the wedge even kind of further
between them, in all three of them. Really, it's just adding like a little bit of fuel to this fire.
Yeah, it's a slow burn, but it's burning nonetheless.
And that's the argument that this day ends off on. So we're at the next day. Jen and Ron are at work. They're still talking about the punch.
Right.
Everyone at this point, it seems like, is starting to realize that Mike is what they would call selfish, which I know you probably don't agree with.
No, he is 100% selfish. Total. I've got no problem admitting that at all. He doesn't help himself in these situations.
It's hard because, like, yeah, he is selfish, but then, like, making dinner for everyone is not a selfish thing.
Exactly. There are these. It's
circumstantial.
It's circumstantial.
Of selflessness.
Yeah, it's sometimes in this one he's one way, and sometimes in another he's a completely different person.
His dichotomy is so fascinating.
He definitely has the most interesting personality to watch unfold out of the bunch, because it is so like,
who are you?
What do you want?
Yeah,
what do you want?
Angle.
You're such an asshole and also kind of a good guy in moments. Yeah. But what is the real? And again, I think Mike is a good person, really, really deep down as far as you can go. And that good quality of his personality is just buried behind all the kind of asshole behavior that he constantly kind of comes into. Yeah. And I think that maybe it's just like an insecurity kind of a thing, or he's got to always have the wall up. Like he doesn't want anyone to get too close or something like that. So when I give Mike the benefit of the doubt, it is because, in my opinion, I think he's deep, at least in this part of the season, he's getting good down guy.
Like into the little bit of jelly core that's like in the middle of this cookie,
right? And the fact that
the rest of the cookie is hard, it's not edible.
No, it's a shit cookie. It's like you have a nice hot cookie and then it's steamy and nice and soft, and then you bite into it and you're like, I think this is a shit cookie.
It's actually poo.
Yeah,
it's just a bit of poo.
It's just a bit of poo. So that's why I always try to give Mike the little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But again, I'll say it. Mike's an asshole.
Yeah.
He is.
Unfortunately. Anyways, this day they're all doing a day trip to someplace called F Cove. I had to stop that and rewind it and put subtitles on because I was like, I'm sure I'm not hearing this right. F Cove? It's the letter F as in flower. Cove. C-O-V-E.
I heard that and I was like, yeah, that's what that place is called. Totally.
It's a boat hangout spot?
Yep.
Where you essentially like drive your boat to and like you tie up with a bunch of other boats or rafts or whatever. And it's literally just like a party cove.
Yeah, it's like Florida.
Yeah.
I got super Florida vibes from F Cove.
Have you ever been down to Lake Travis in Austin, by the way? There's something similar down there, except it's like nudie version. I forget what it's called. Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Seriously?
Something Cove, yeah.
I've not been there.
It's nudie version.
Really?
I have not personally been there. Let me just clarify.
You seem to know a lot about.
But if you're on the lake and you happen to boat by it, you're going to see some stuff.
Wow, yeah, did not know that, but it's Austin, so it does makes sense. If that's going to be anywhere, it's going to be there.
If you know what the name of this cove is at Lake Travis in Austin, please let us know.
Yeah, so the gang's out there partying with, everyone else who's out there to do the same kind of thing. People are going in the water. At one point,
Vinny is hanging off of their boat like he's freaking Jack Sparrow, and he's like laughing his head off with that headscarf on.
Yeah, he's having a good old time. He's
like, yo ho, looks like a pirate hanging off of this boat. Jenny jumps into the water. She swims over to like a neighboring boat.
No, not a neighboring boat. The fastest boat out of the bunch.
How do you know that?
It's a speedboat.
Ah, okay. So that explains why it's such a weird shape then, because they can barely pull her up over the side of this thing because of how concave this boat shape is. Yeah. And like all I could think about was like how scraped up her belly must have been getting over the side of this boat.
That boat is meant to go really, really fast. And I thought it was interesting that out of all the boats that Jenny could have gone to, she went to the fast boat, the Lamborghini.
That's funny.
Of what all those boats are, because even Snooki makes a comment about the guys in the boat are like old. Or like old, like out of shape guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So JWoww was going to the boat, not to the guys.
Vinny at some point ends up like falling in the water. He's trying to make a joke and like he's trying to get Sam's attention on the side of this boat, and like something rips off the boat that he's hanging on to and he falls back into the water, and Polly's just laughing his head off.
Yeah.
Polly's hair is waterproof because he definitely was like in this lake, like submerging, and that he would come up above the water line.
Motorcycle proof.
It looks like he never even went in.
Yeah, he's not afraid.
Hilarious.
It's set. It's got to be glue,
it's
man.
Set, man.
It's got to be glue. It's the only way that he could have that
hair cement.
Hair stay like that.
Like Ron and Sam are isolating again.
Yeah, up in the crow's nest.
Yeah, the crow's nest of their
whatever
boat.
It is. Yeah, again,
the guys are trying to get Ron to come down and hang out with them, and Sam won't let him.
Sam won't let him. Yep. Again, another instance of them isolating. I've got that same exact note here.
Snooks ends up meeting a guy that she kind of likes and like starts talking to, but by this point, it seems like it's probably the end of the day and they have to go. So Ron's just like trying to rally her to, come on, Snooks, like we have to leave. We got to go. I'm tired. She doesn't want to go, so he finally ends up like throwing her into the water to get her to come. Move. Very dickish of him.
Not cool.
She can't, poor thing, she can't catch a break.
Yeah, she really can't catch a break.
Ronnie, don't
let everyone have fun too.
Yeah,
like it's not just about you and Sammy.
What annoys me too is that this also seems to be another thing that a lot of the guys in the house seem to think that it's okay to just like pick Snooki up and place her where they want her to be, which annoys me.
It's because she's so small.
It's because she's so tiny, but like that's not cool.
Yeah.
She's her own person. Like she's not a baby.
Yeah. It definitely came across when Ronnie threw her off the boat. And it wasn't a playful kind of a thing. It was like I got to get my aggression out somehow. So let me throw Snooki off the boat.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw you in. Yeah. I'm not trying to be funny. Like we're leaving.
Which is like a real bad way to end that whole, because everyone is having so much fun in the water and like everyone's smiling and laughing and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, come on, Ron, seriously?
Yeah.
Don't be a buzzkill, dude.
I also worried too that like maybe when she hit the water, she could have hit her face in some way. Like, because she's still swollen at this point.
Yeah, that's true. She is.
Just so annoying. Anyways, a little bit later, back at the house, Polly and Mike are trying to find dates for the night, just like some girls, whatever phone numbers they've caught over this last week. They want to see if they can get anyone to come and hang out with them at the house. And Mike says, as long as you keep calling, there'll be success in your numbers game. It's just like anything else. Which from a sales perspective, he's not wrong.
No.
You're in sales.
Yeah. He's not wrong. Yeah, I mean, it is a numbers game for sure.
In this case, though, he's not talking about sales. He's talking about people.
Yeah, he's talking about scoring. Yeah, he's talking about scoring. All the while he's doing that, he's wearing, do you know what kind of shirt he's wearing?
No.
Did you see the shirt?
I missed it.
It's a Joker
face shirt. I did see that.
I think it's done in rhinestones, if I'm not, I think it's like a glittery shirt.
Probably.
Interesting shirt. That's a Heath Ledger Joker.
I did notice that.
That's a bold choice.
Yeah, very bold.
Yeah, he's a bold man.
The rest of the roommates are heading out on this night. They're gonna leave, Polly and Mike behind. Polly, Mike, and Vinny, I think, actually are gonna stay behind at the house and hang out. The rest of the roommates are gonna head over to Bamboo.
They're going to Bamboo. Yeah.
Have we been to Bamboo?
I don't think we've been to Bamboo before. I think this is the first time.
Feels new.
Yeah, I think this is the first time. I think it's more of a low key, like restaurant-y kind of bar, not like a club bar.
But let's be clear, it is like a club scene.
Well, yeah,
after certain hours.
you're on the shore. Everything's gonna be a club eventually.
It's gonna have a club aspect.
Yeah, but I think it's the first time that we've been
to
there.
Bamboo. We're kind of flipping back and forth between the house and the club. Mike and Polly's girls get there, and the one that Mike likes, her name is Stephanie. but she is a dead ringer for Sammy. She's a Sammy look-alike, man.
You're 100% right.
Did you catch that?
No, I didn't realize that until just now. You're 100% right.
I'm like screaming. As soon as I saw her, I was like, no wonder he likes her. She looks just like Sammy.
She's trying to replace
the long, dark brown hair. She's got the same complexion, same pretty face.
Her name starts with S.
Yes. So I was like,
I didn't realize that until just
Michael.
now. He either is having a facsimile of Sammy or he has a type. But he's probably still hung up on Sammy. Let me backtrack 1 second.
Yeah.
Mike makes a comment whenever they're all talking up there with the girls before they go to Bamboo a week into the show. Episode 5 happens a week into the show.
Okay.
He makes a comment to one of the girls saying, "Yeah, we've been here for a week together."
Yeah, I think I did pick up on that.
Just for timing to kind of know how far we are along.
Yeah.
5 episodes in and a week into the show.
We're about halfway through this season.
So I wonder how long they say they're there for the summer. Are they there for a month? Is it 2 months?
For some reason, I always thought it was like more like a month, but at this rate,
it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I see. They said the summer, so I thought 3 months that they're there for.
We're here for the summer.
Because how can all of this stuff happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
It's their literal full-time job, and not even full-time. It's a 24/7.
It's every single day of every single hour.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I just wanted to make that just so we can have context of time here.
That's a great observation.
Okay, so we're back at Bamboo. Sis, what happens at Bamboo?
So, yeah, we're back at Bamboo. Got to find my place in the notes here.
Yeah, no, you find it.
It just like re-blew my mind, how fast all of this is moving.
It's a lot to take in.
Okay, so we're at the club. Ron, Sam, Jen, and Snooks are having a really good time, but there's some girls who are hanging out on the sidelines and they're trash talking.
For some reason.
For some unknown reason.
Is that a
girl
thing? I mean, what is that? Because they make a very, very specific insult.
I think what it is, cameras. Let's see if we can do something to try and get in on and see if they'll put us on the show.
Because again, this could have been edited to be. It seems like it comes out of nowhere. And what do they say?
Well, essentially, they're making fat remarks.
Very specific insult. That's not.
And they say they're directed at Jenny, but I think really it was meant to be more so for all the girls.
Yeah, that's not an insult that a guy would go to.
No, they're making weight comment. Yeah, that is intentionally trying to start something.
Right.
Jen ends up throwing her drink in this girl's face, which I think is awesome because she deserved it.
Right.
I mean, we don't condone
fighting, but the girl who's making the insult had it coming.
She was cruising for bruising, as it were.
And she picked the wrong girl.
The absolute wrong person.
Jenny looks like she's wearing armor.
Yeah.
It's like her pants are like blinged out.
Studded,
this top that she's wearing is like covered in stones. It looks like she's going to battle.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, she pretty much is because Jen ends up throwing her drink on this girl. The girl throws the cup back at Jenny, which is like, oh man, snap.
Then it's clobbering time.
Yeah, Jen takes off to knock this girl out. This girl has Jenny by a handful of her hair, and keeping in mind that Jenny has those extensions. So you're like, you're not just ripping extension out, you're ripping also the regular hair that it's attached to. Also, that's annoying because now she's going to have to get her extensions redone.
She probably was due for a tune-up anyway.
Probably. So Jenny is swinging, and as we've seen, Jenny's got a powerful swing,
dude, man. She gets like 3-4 punches like in a row with her offhand, like her left hand.
Strong. She's scary.
I said this in I think the very first episode. I would not want to get into a fight with JWoww. I mean, she if JWoww were to punch me, you would feel it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So much so that it's taking 4 or 5 large bouncers to break this fight up between 2 girls.
Yeah.
And they're struggling to get these girls pulled off of each other.
Yeah.
And then finally, by the end of it, Jen gets kicked out, of course. And
big smile on her face.
Oh, big smile on her face. And she says, man, I just really wanted 3 more seconds for justice. Like if they wouldn't have pulled me off 3 more seconds and I would have had her.
Yeah, she totally would have. It's an intense fight, and JWoww 100% holds her own.
So we flip back over to the guys who are back at the house, and they're hanging out with these girls. And Vinny claims that fist pumping has nothing to do with being from Jersey. It has everything to do with being from Jersey, because I've never seen that done outside of this show.
That's
ever.
That's like saying two-step and has nothing to do with Texas.
Right.
It's got everything to do with Texas.
Yes, absolutely. So anyways, I thought that was a little bit interesting. Fist pumping, like, where did it come from? Like, is it a Jersey thing?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, totally. It's a cultural thing for sure.
So back at the house, the girls are leaving, and Mike's girl, Stephanie, the Sammy lookalike, says that she's already heard some little stuff.
Rumblings and grumblings.
That Mike and Polly have been up to on the shore, like, AKA hooking up with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike runs up to tell Polly about this, and Polly's reaction is...
He loves it.
He loves it like a badge of honor.
I came here to make a name for myself. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. All I want to do is make a name for myself in Jersey, and there's the name.
Yeah, totally. He's pumped.
He's so happy about it. Is that something to be proud of?
I mean, no.
For a guy?
Yeah, for me, but...
If that's your goal, I guess.
But it's a thing that happens totally.
I mean, it's a hookup culture.
Yeah, totally. For those guys, yeah, it is a badge of honor.
Yeah, which is just so weird.
Hey, man, different strokes for different folks.
Different blokes.
Folks is good.
Sorry.
We'll save the blokes for when they go abroad. All right? Reel it back here a little bit.
Good idea.
There was nothing that needed to be corrected, first off.
I just felt like saying blokes.
All right, fine. That's fair.
Okay, so Ron, oops.
Hey, don't hit the mics either.
Oops.
I'm trying to be professional over here.
I think professionalities have gone out the window at this point.
That's true. We're just kind of winging this whole thing, aren't we?
Ron, Sam, Jen, Snooks, they're walking to Karma from Bamboo. I initially thought they were walking home for the night. They're not. They're going to the next bar, which is Karma.
Yeah.
And, Jen makes a comment, which I just thought was so funny. And so her, too. She says, I'm going back to New York where I take shots with the bar owners after I beat bitches up.
Yeah. I bet you she does. I feel like Jenny's not a bullshitter.
Absolutely she does. So
I feel like most things that Jenny says is probably true.
Yeah. So that's kind of the way that we end this night. And we're on to the next day where the scene opens up and Mike is cooking.
Again.
Yet again. He looks
cooking
like
again.
He's chopping up some peppers or something like that.
Some green peppers.
His frying pan combusts. He's like spraying his cooking spray in the frying pan. And this thing goes up in flames in his face.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
It's too hot of a pan.
Oh, okay.
And that's not the... You shouldn't be using cooking spray. I mean, I get why you would use like non-stick spray, but if you're going to be sauteing something, watch your heat and don't put like non-stick spray in your pan, man. Olive oil, bro. You're Italian.
So funny.
Use olive oil.
Maybe he was getting there. Maybe he wanted like an extra layer of like non-stickery.
They had lobster the night before. They've got olive oil, dude. So I don't want to hear it.
No, maybe they ran out.
Go into my cabinets right now. You will not find cooking spray anywhere in it. Okay.
So pretty much Mike burns his eyebrows off in this scene.
Yeah, which I thought was funny because it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It doesn't
have anything to do.
It's just funny to see.
They just wanted to show like his reaction is like, whoa.
That was a lot.
So Polly on this morning is getting his DJ equipment ready for the gig that he's got that night. And he's like geeking out over all of his hardware with Vinny, which is a cute little moment that they had together. Mike is trying to get the Sam lookalike, her name is Stephanie, to go out for lunch.
You want to call her Sammy too?
We can call her Sammy too.
Okay.
But she ends up ghosting him,
Hard.
which is kind of funny.
But he handles it like a champ.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like her.
No.
He likes Sammy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom ends up sending Jenny some blue roses inexplicably.
Yeah, tacky roses. I just want to comment on.
I was gonna say, like, they're not my favorite, but it's the thought that counts.
What is he thinking though? I thought they were broken up.
She said something about them being like the rarest roses. Which they're not. They're just...
No, I think he just put
their color.
dye in
there's
water.
Dye in the water of white roses. But yes, to your point, I thought they were broken up, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't even think they know what they are.
No, I think that's a comment that gets made. They're like,
Yeah.
what is even going on?
Everyone
the other housemates say that.
in the house is very confused at this relationship, and so are we.
Yeah.
So that night, they're back at Karma for Polly's show, and Ron is dancing his friggin' ass off.
Oh, yeah.
He is outside paper toweling himself off. He's sweating so much.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron and Sam, of course, end up leaving early. I feel like I'm like a broken record here. Here goes the isolation.
Yeah.
They're always off on their own by themselves, doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
They end up leaving early. Vinny ends up meeting this lady named Tanya.
Yeah.
And she's clearly a mature lady. She's a little bit older.
Yeah, she's older than Vinny, but I couldn't figure out how old she was.
Me neither.
30, 29.
It's just so hard to tell. Like, these people just look, in general, all these people look so much older than they are.
Yeah.
But she's more mature than him for sure. In the meantime, they're making out. He asks her to come back to the house, and as they're walking back, Vin realizes that Tanya had been out on a date with Danny the boss and their landlord earlier that night. And so he starts freaking out, as he rightly should be. And pretty much the episode ends with Vin and Tanya playing tonsil hockey on some poor random guy's car.
Some little guy's car.
So yeah, now at this point, Vinny has created a little bit of a problem for himself in that he might be getting evicted.
He certainly has. There's a scene that flashes back to Danny at the bar where Vinny and Tanya are like starting to get together.
Yep, exactly. So, and Vinny realizes, maybe I've made a mistake.
Yeah. He found that out way too late.
Way too late.
Which, how is anyone going to know?
Yeah.
Tanya wasn't going to know who he was. He wasn't going to know who Tanya was. So,
I mean,
it's just one of those things.
I'm not even really sure how it came up in their conversation as they're walking back to the house. I guess maybe he asked her, well, what were you up to earlier tonight or something? She was like, well, I was out on a date with
Danny.
We had dinner with Danny. And he was like, Danny?
Yeah, Danny.
Wait.
Who Danny?
Danny.
My Danny?
She was like, oh, yeah, just this guy. And he's like, wait a minute. Danny the boss?
Yeah. The landlord.
Oh, my gosh. Like, hands over face, like, realizing what has happened.
Yeah. So now we get Vinny's first little crisis that he's going to have to solve.
Yes.
Ending this episode. And that's where what is episode 5?
Yeah,
leaves us off. Again, another good little cliffhanger to figure out what's going to go, because even in the like what's coming up next on Jersey Shore, little recap, we see Danny's involved and Vinny's freaking out, and it's a nice little setup for episode 6 as we make our way through season 1. We're halfway, kind of right in the middle of the full first season. Yeah. Really starting to pick up, really starting to be Jersey Shore. Lot feels like a lot more to talk about, because I even think this episode was a little tamer than previous episodes, but still a lot to talk about, still a lot going on.
But, I think it had to be. I think we've talked about this before. You kind of have to have the really like chaotic episodes, and then you kind of have to have your palate cleanser after that, just to be able to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep just hang in there with us. Okay, slow things down a little bit. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna start punching each other and everything's on fire. So you kind of have to go like up and down with it. But
sis, big any standout moments for you?
Standout moments, definitely the Jenny fight was a fun one. What else? It was
the dishes fight for me.
The dishes fight,
because I've been in that argument
before. Yeah. Yeah, those were good ones. So yeah, we're looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Closing remarks, sis, where can they find you?
So I'm going to be on the Instas at christy.a.brian. That's Christy with a Y. Brian with a Y. Also, don't forget to follow at Macaroni Rascals podcast
on
because,
Instagram.
We'll be posting some good stuff there. We might do a couple of lives here and there, and give you some behind the scenes content and whatnot.
Just a little bit extra if you want to keep up with us. You can find me on Instagram at Steven Lizarraga. That's StephenLizarraga.
Nice.
And as we're one to do, we're just going to kind of leave it there. We'll catch up with you guys next week for episode 6 of Jersey Shore. This has been a whole hell of a lot of fun, sis.
Yeah, and this is Macaroni Rascals, a Jersey Shore podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
We'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys.
Bye.